How are you, folks? It's a rainy Friday in Columbus, Ohio. You know that kind of spotty rain where you're never quite sure where to set the wipers. Do you put it on the first level of the steady beat, or do you go with intermittent? And if you go with intermittent, you're constantly juggling where to put it because the rain constantly shifts. One of those intermittent rain days that are maddening. Speaking of maddening, folks, what is going on in the airline industry? First of all, I believe that United yanking Dr. Dow off the flight, busting his nose and breaking his face and dragging him off like a sack of potatoes was the first time I've ever seen that. Let's be honest, flying has always been basically riding on the edge of danger. No one anymore has any pretense about flying. Everybody is on edge. They hate it. They hate it. It's just a matter of survival. Let's get me there, and I just want to get out of here, is what everybody's thinking. But for an airline to take a paying customer and bust them all up and drag them off, I think he was unconscious. I don't know. It was a whole new level of disservice. Not service, disservice. Because we found out later that once you're on the plane, a whole new legal situation arises. And while he may have been obstinate in his behavior, he was also probably right and probably was paid handsomely for it. You know, during that United story, I thought, well, how do these other airlines handle this kind of thing? And I found that Delta has this whole extensive procedure they go through to make sure that they bump people as soon as possible. And I thought that's fair to them. Like they tell you, even when you buy the ticket, they ask you, how much will it take to bump you off a flight if we have to? And you indicate that when you buy your ticket, I believe. Somebody that flies Delta, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I read. So therefore, when they need to bump people, they already go through the list of names. Unfortunately, in the Dr. Dow United situation, of course, like I said, they were already on the flight, which was the case with Delta recently. See, because after I read that about Delta, I thought, well, man, United should learn from Delta, but now Delta put their foot in it. When a man and his wife and their family were flying back from Maui, the details of which are still emerging, but at one point, a ticket was moved from one kid's name to another kid's name, which actually the FAA allows, but Delta does not. And so they told the man they couldn't do that. Then there was a secondary question about the parents wanted to put one of the kids in a car seat in one of the seats. Delta said you can't do that. Watch the video online to get the whole details. But at one point, my point of this story, at one point in the situation, a Delta person tells the father, if you don't acquiesce to what we're telling you, you're going to go to jail and your kids are going to foster care. You are going to go to jail and your kids are going to go to foster care. I don't care what the situation is. Nobody from your airline should ever tell anybody that it's a paying customer those words. Unless you're law enforcement personnel, unless you're the captain, then you should have no business saying anything like that. Bad move, Delta. Bad. However, one thing they did was interesting. They decided that the man who was insisting on being able to put his kid in this car seat in one of the seats, and also that he should be able to change the name on the ticket, he was insisting that they let him do that because it's the right thing to do in his mind because he had paid for the tickets. He was a paying customer. And again, they let him on the flight. Once they let you on the flight, a whole new legal situation arises. I'm not a lawyer. Look it up. But your contract with the airline, so to speak, changes, and you have a lot of different rights. The man was insisting on those rights, but Delta was saying, look, at this point, we want you off the flight. So here's what they did that was good. They didn't beat the heck out of him. Nobody was dragged off the plane. which is one good lesson. If there's anything that the airline industry can learn during all of these recent incidences in the air or on the ground in airplanes, is don't drag your customers off the plane like a sack of potatoes. That's my point of this whole rant. They said to the family, said, look, the plane is not leaving with you on it. We would like you off the plane. Therefore, we will sit here for 4 hours, 5 hours, as long as it takes. And if that doesn't work, we are going to take everybody off the plane, everybody, including you. And then we're going to put everybody back on the plane, not including you. You got to admit, there's a little bit of genius there, because it puts so much peer pressure on them that eventually they just decided that, hey, we have to get off. So watch that video online. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. I think you'll get a kick out of it. I think you'll find it interesting. But, folks, man, we just got to take it down a notch. I mean, everybody is keyed up, on edge, ready to jump at a moment's notice, ready to get into fisticuffs, get into altercations, get in each other's face. Whoo! I just want to get to Cleveland. All right, folks, that's all I've got for now. Until next time, I'll see you then.